And we're going to have this, if you're joining us on Facebook Live, welcome. We are putting this up on Facebook Live as well. So we're going live right now, preparing the live stream. Okay, welcome everyone. We are live on Facebook. And I am going to start presenting our slides. Let me just pull those up 1 second. Can everyone see my screen? The ABCs of ADUs? Can you see that? Great. Well, welcome everyone again. Thank you so much for being here. We're excited to learn about accessory dwelling units tonight. Tonight's meeting is being translated in Spanish. So if you want interpretation services, we do have that available. Para escuchar en español, haga clic en interpretation. Allí. En el icono del globo, interpretación or interpretation. Okay, Christine, can you see the slides? Everyone can see the slides. I just saw in the chat function someone can't, but Nicholas, if you can give me a thumbs up if you could see them. Okay, great. If anyone can't see them, let us know. So thank you all so much for being here again. Thank you to Norma and Fabiola for translating today. We do have closed captioning on. Are people seeing the closed captioning available yet? No? Okay, let's see. Let's make sure we can do that. It should be on now. If you can make sure it's at the bottom of your screen, we should have that going. We are recording on Facebook Live and YouTube, which will put this up later on at the end of the event. We want to give some thanks to Steve Pimentel, one of Catalyze SV's leaders and one of our advisors, who suggested tonight's event. Thank you, Steve. If you're on camera and want to give a thumbs up or in the chat function, we're so grateful for this amazing event you suggested and inspired by you. And we're so appreciative of all of you for being here. Why are we talking about ADUs? Well, it turns out it's a pretty hot topic. Before we get into it, I just want to go over a couple little ground rules. If you could stay muted, folks, throughout our presenters, that would be great. Each presenter tonight will have 15 minutes to present. And if you want to do any questions, best to put them in the chat function. And if we need to, we can have some additional time to go through them. If you want to ask them in the Q&A section, that's probably the best place to do it, either the chat or the Q&A. We'll try to keep abreast of both of them. And because if as presenters, as you're answering questions, if you could read out the question, because not everyone on Facebook Live or will be in the chat function. So read out those questions. If you can ask the question, everyone, during the presenter's presentation time, that would be great. But if there are general questions throughout the presentations, feel free to ask those as well. Tonight, we're really focused on accessory dwelling units. So let's see if we can keep the topic focused on that. ADUs are a very hot topic here in Silicon Valley, but not just here in Silicon Valley. 6 days ago, the Biden White House did an event on accessory dwelling units. You can click on that link at the top of the screen and you can watch that hour-and-a-half presentation where they talked about some of the benefits of ADUs, presenting slides and information like what you see in front of you, bringing in a panel of experts, including Housing Trust Silicon Valley here locally to share their work, and citing the number of accessory dwelling units that have been approved in the city of San Jose. So it's a hot topic nationally. It's also a big topic on our statewide level. You can go to this link on the presentation here and find the state's accessory dwelling unit handbook for more information about ADUs. That's a place to start. I know a lot of you are talking about how do we build more homes in this state. One of the reasons is a new state law that took effect January 1st this year. Some of you may be aware of, called SB 9. So I welcome anyone looking into more about that. That is definitely a hot topic that somewhat intersperses with ADUs, but not quite as much. So we won't be talking about SB 9 too much tonight, but I know it's a topic on a lot of people's minds throughout the state. And then many of our local governments share information on their websites about accessory dwelling units, the County of Santa Clara, the City of Santa Clara, the City of San Jose, and more. So there's lots of resources out there. If you just even Google accessory dwelling unit, you'll see a ton of information about potential companies like some of the ones we'll show tonight, as well as general information about the policy. So tonight's event is brought to you by a lot of organizations. The organization I'm with, Catalyze SV, does events like tonight because we care about education in the community. We want all of you to feel knowledgeable about development issues so that we can build sustainable, equitable, and vibrant places in Silicon Valley. That's what we're all about. And we think this is an amazing opportunity for those of you who are interested in learning more about accessory dwelling units to sort of take you from consideration and comprehension into potentially construction if you have land that is maybe yours. So I'm going to launch a quick poll. Curious who's in the room today. If folks wouldn't mind taking this quick poll as I run through the next couple slides, that would be great. Just sort of curious what your knowledge is and your interest in the subject. And thank you everyone who's already starting to answer. That's awesome. Appreciate it. Your quick poll answers, impressive. Tonight's event is also brought to you by a number of other organizations. Our presenting sponsors have put skin in the game, helping support this event, helping fund this event so we could bring this good information to you. Want to thank Meriwest Credit Union, San Jose Conservation Corps and Charter School, the Sí Se Puede Collective, and Kaiser Permanente. Some of those folks are here right now. So if you all want to say hi in the chat function, I encourage you to say hi, share your contact information, how you're involved with accessory dwelling units or why you care about them. Put that in the chat function so other folks in our community can learn about your organization, your company, and your interest in this topic. We also want to thank our supporting sponsors who also helped get the word out: Tech Equity Collaborative, Greenbelt Alliance, Spur, Cupertino for All, and South Bay YIMBY. Thanks to our sister organizations for helping get the word out among your members, your stakeholders as well. We really appreciate you helping promote that. I'm going to end the poll in the next 20 or so seconds. So if you could very quickly take the poll if you haven't already, that would be appreciated. So here's our agenda for tonight. We're going to launch things with the company Abodu, then we'll go to Mayberry Workshop, then Soup, then Symbihom. Any final questions and a little wrap up for you. Events like tonight do cost us money, so if you will give you another pitch at the end, but if you want to donate to Catalyze SV to support things like this, we would certainly appreciate it. And we were sorry to hear that Acton ADU was planning to come tonight, but couldn't make it because of a medical reason. So hopefully you'll be able to find out information about them in some other form or fashion. So our poll results, I'm sharing the results with you now. Looks like 81% of you are homeowners. We've got some renters in the house. Thank you, renters, for joining as well. And we've also got a lot of you who are already considering building an ADU. That's great. And we've also got some folks who are learning or just here to not even sure, or maybe, I don't know. Those are great answers too. So thank you everyone for those responses. I really, really appreciate that. Okay, I'll stop sharing that. And we will go to the next presenter here. So let me stop my screen share. And let me go to Abodu. Are you all ready to start presenting? And let me see, let's get Jeremy as a panelist. He's going to be presenting on behalf of Abodu. So I'm just promoting Jeremy now. Jeremy, if you could accept that, and you'll be able to kick us off as a presenter. Thank you, Peter, for jumping over from Facebook Live to the Zoom. Jeremy, we're waiting for you to come in as a panelist. Have you been able to come in yet? Jeremy, are you there with us? I'm looking for you. And maybe you had to depart for me. Oh, there we go. Jeremy, I'm promoting you to a panelist. There you go. Okay, Jeremy Osborne with Abodu.
All right.
Thanks.
Can everyone hear me? Thumbs up. Cool. Alex, thank you very much for the intro. Great to see everyone, meet everyone. My name is Jeremy Osborne. I work for Abodu. We are the ADU company. We focus on factory-built ADUs. So one of many options here in the Bay Area to put an ADU in your backyard. And again, we focus on factory-built construction, which in combination with a couple of other unique methods that we offer allows us to both secure permits and build and deliver and install an ADU in your backyard to a really high level of quality with a minimal effort on the homeowner's part. So to give a rough sense for timeline, if hypothetical for a customer was to sign a contract with us today, we can have permits in hand in as little as a week. Average time, let's say 6 weeks plus or minus. And then total project timeline about 6 months. And we can certainly go a lot faster than that in some cases. And these are built to a really high quality spec. So if I can share my screen, I will show some details here. Oh, it's not letting me share my screen. Let me try again. Hold Shift to select multiple windows. Okay. Let's try that. Oh gosh. I do not have the ability to share my screen with you guys.
Jeremy, are you on Zoom?
I am on Zoom. I think
Alex?
it's my IT department's
Oh.
safeguards.
Jeremy,
So,
can you try both? Can you try again?
yeah, let me try again. System preferences. Well, let's try this. Sorry, guys. I'll try to ad lib a little bit here while I figure this out. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be able to figure this out, guys. I apologize. So I will give a more brief explanation. If somebody has the ability to pull up our website, I can kind of show some visuals. Yeah, we have 3 different Abodu models. So we again focus on wholly built structures. So when they leave the factory, they're about 98% complete. So cabinets, appliances, countertops, flooring, plumbing fixtures, et cetera, et cetera. Then in most cases, it's a pretty dramatic installation process. We will do a temporary street closure in front of the homeowner's house, set up a very large crane. The truck will arrive with the Abodu on the back. The crane will pick up the entire Abodu structure, swing it over the top of the house, and then set it down in the backyard. Before that day arrives, our separate crew will come out about 2 weeks before. They'll excavate, form, and pour a very typical concrete perimeter foundation. So it does set on a permanent concrete foundation, and there's a positive connection that's seismically rated. And we'll also trench and run all the underground utility connections. And then install day happens, and it's usually another 2 weeks or so after that. So total time we spend in a homeowner's backyard for a 6-month project is really about 4 weeks. We have 3 models total. We have the Abodu Studio, which is a 340 square foot structure, 28 feet by 12 feet. We have the Abodu 1, which is 35 by 14 feet, and that's 500 square feet. And then we have the Abodu 2, which is 610 square feet, and that's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath structure. We also have an option called the quick ship option, which is, the analogy is sort of going on to Tesla's website and building your own Tesla and creating your own sort of truly customized Abodu. And then we go into factory production, build it for you, deliver it. Or you can go on the lot and pick out a car on the lot same day. So we build a certain number of Abodu units to a certain spec. That's sort of the greatest hits of what people typically order from us. And then we can basically go from permits in hand to project completion in as little as 30 days. And we have actually done that recently in San Jose. We had a customer recently who closed escrow on a property in San Jose on October 5th. We were able to pull permits on October 6th, and we installed that unit on October 26th. And then final permit sign off, I think, was the second week of November for that project. So that is, unfortunately, sorry for the technical difficulties here, guys, but I'll just cut it short and happy to answer any questions.
Jeremy, did you try screen sharing again?
I did, and I think it's we just have a, we're trying to guard against the bad guys on the other side of the firewall here. So I needed to get permission before I jumped on.
Okay.
Do I dare give it a try, Jeremy?
Sure, that'd be great.
Let's see.
So yeah, thanks, Nicholas. I appreciate it. This is a Matterport tour of our showroom space in Redwood City. In our showroom, we have a 1-bedroom in Abodu 1 and also an Abodu studio. So he's standing in the living room here. You can see focus on this kind of Scandinavian design. So lots of light, tall ceilings, tall windows to really make a small space feel bigger. So again, this is a 500 square foot space, but it's very efficient. You've got a full kitchen suite with a full suite of appliances. You have a full bathroom. You have a full bedroom for that matter. And even in one of the cabinets here in the kitchen, there is a washer dryer combo appliance as well. So you've got a laundry center in there as well. Belmont cabinetry, quartz countertops, engineered laminate flooring. What you can't see on the Matterport here too, which is important to me as a contractor of 20 years, but level 4 smooth drywall finish. We've got R21 insulation in the walls and R40 in the ceiling and subfloor. Comes with heating and air conditioning system with 2 zones. So these are really well appointed structures. And by the way, everything that I just mentioned is standard. We do have a smattering of options and upgrades that people can select. But pretty much everything that you're seeing right now that Nicholas is helping me out with, appreciate it, Nicholas, is sort of our base price. And the base price for the Abodu 1 that you're looking at is $225. And that really covers almost everything, kind of typical whole project cost, including permit fees, taxes, and usually a few site-specific charges that might add on. Typical kind of whole project cost is right around $250, I would say. So, for Bay Area construction prices, it's very cost competitive as well.
Great, thanks, Jeremy. Did you want to start taking some questions I'm seeing?
Absolutely.
Great. Leslie Corsiglia wanted to know, how big a space do you need to have to place a 500 square foot unit?
Great question. So the Abodu 1 is, the dimensions are pretty consistent. So 35 by 14 for the Abodu 1, which is 500 square feet, and then 44 by 14 for the Abodu 2, which is 610 square feet. 14 feet wide is literally the widest structure we can roll down the road without police escort and shutting the road down. So there's a very specific intention with that 14-foot depth. So for an Abodu 1 that's 35 by 14, Typically, we're looking for, if you're going to set it straight across the back of your yard, we would look for a 45-foot wide or wider lot. And if you don't have that 40-foot wide depth, then we can certainly run it lengthwise along either the left or the right side fence line of your yard. We just need a deeper lot if that's the case. And roughly the same dimensions there, so 45 feet of depth. If you are running across the back, then the total depth we need, ideal conditions right around 30 feet, but we can get it to within 22 feet even with some of our models in depth. So we can fit into some pretty tight spaces. Can the glass wall placement on the studio unit be customized? Great question. So there's quite a bit that you can do to sort of mix and match with our options and upgrades. We have several different siding styles, several different roof options. Several of our siding units are also paint grades, so you can give us any paint color you like. We can also flip the layout for any of our units. So if it makes more sense for the entry door to be on the left rather than on the right, or vice versa, we can do that as well with all of our models. One exception is a ton of customization for the windows or the doors. The basic footprint of the units is not going to change too much. That said, it's, so we do not deliver something that's truly bespoke. We offer sort of the 80-20, if you will, and most folks find the savings that are involved in that are more than enough. Yes, our ADUs are all electric structures. That makes it one of the reasons why we can get permits and breeze through the permitting process and the building process for that matter so easily. Also important to note, though, that all of our structures are built with, again, conventional materials, conventional methods. It's not that you can't run a gas line yourself and do modifications to the structure, but that would have to be a separate project. We have to build and deliver exactly what's on our plans. That's why our plans are pre-approved.
Great, Jeremy. You're answering great questions, and thanks for repeating them. One of them I'm seeing in the chat function is, do you have a universal design model?
Yeah, great question. So we are actually now building almost all of our units really with basic ADA compliant functions in them. So we definitely have universal design considerations, and we have some modifications that we can make. Great example, as you're looking at the walkthrough that we just did, the bathroom has a slight curb, a lip to it, but we can also do a completely curbless bathroom floor. So that's probably the one big modification that we would do for a universal design. And then we also have, because it's about a 20-inch step up into the structure, we can do an elongated deck or a ramp up to the structure as well.
Okay. Another question came.
Sorry, go ahead.
Another question came through the chat function. We're getting questions in two places. It's a little easier, y'all, if you could put them in the Q&A. But this question was about what's the average cost of the 2-bedroom, 1-bath?
Yep. So the base price for the Abodu 2 is $259, and then total project cost for the Abodu 2 typically comes in around, say, $280,000 to $300,000 when you factor in permit fees and site-specific details, etc.
Thanks, Jeremy. Yeah, we've got a couple more minutes for Jeremy, so let's see if we can finish off with questions from Debbie, Harriet, and maybe.
Yeah, so we do projects in Alameda County. Pretty much all of the 5 major counties in the Bay Area we work in. We're also in Southern California, so LA County, Riverside, Orange County, Ventura County, San Diego County. We're also in Seattle, and several new markets to come. And there also is, and sorry, for the studio, it's again 28 by 12. So I would say add another 10 feet again, so 38 feet wide and about 22 feet in depth. The warranty, yes, it's again, we're building to California Building Code. So the same exact warranty requirements that would apply to a contractor apply to us. So 10-year warranty for structural, 1-year warranty for any product that we install. We actually extend that to a 2-year warranty and then a 1-year warranty for fit and finish.
Great. We're getting a couple more questions, Jeremy, in the Q&A. So if we can get to him. The nice thing, y'all, is that Jeremy's going to be here for the next hour.
Yeah.
So as you have more questions
Sure.
for Jeremy, you might want to just put them, say Abodu or Jeremy. So Jeremy knows that you're asking him a question directly, and he's going to put the response then either in the Q&A or in the chat function for folks. So we'll continue to benefit from Jeremy's knowledge throughout the evening. But we've got only a couple more questions, time for a couple more questions. We want to get to our next presenter. Jeremy, let's see what you can do with the last couple questions.
Absolutely. So here's a question. So we do have a 2-bedroom, 1-bath structure. That's the Abodu 2. It's 610 square feet. We don't have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath structure. We can build a larger structure, but frankly, this 610 square foot model is tough to maneuver down the road sometimes, and we focus on trying to get this actually is succeeding in getting this in folks' yards. All of our structures are 13 feet 5 inches tall, roughly, at the peak of the roof, and that's with a lot of intention. That is below the daylight plane calculation that they call it in a lot of areas, where you get some sort of HOA or neighbor input that you might not want to involve. So the peak of the roof, again, 13 feet 5 inches. Inside the structure, the ceilings are vaulted to 10 feet 5 inches. For the sake of time, I will go through the rest of these. And yes, Abodu is one of the vendors pre-approved by San Jose. Not just San Jose, but several dozen other cities statewide are pre-approved for Abodu plan sets.
Great. Thanks, Jeremy. You were so succinct. That was amazing. Appreciate it.
Try. Thanks,
That was
guys.
good. Well, we're very glad to have Abodu. Guys, check them out. Jeremy, continue to put information in the chat function if you want for folks. Now we're going to go to, and if we have extra time at the end, we'll come back and do a free-for-all for all our panelists if you want to continue to ask questions. But we want to get to Adam Mayberry of Mayberry Workshops. Thanks, Adam, for being here. It's good to finally see your stuff on display. We've been known you for many years, so we're excited to see what you've been up to.
Yeah, we've been busy. So let me share here. And yeah, welcome everyone. Like to see some names in the attendees that are familiar and questions being asked. Folks we know from around town. It's great to, how about the community ad housing, and Catalyze SV does a lot for housing, not just ADUs. And we as architects first, and housing advocates and community members second. We love what you guys do. So thanks for having us. So I'm gonna talk about the De La ADU here. A little bit about the process that we went through and some of the conflict and issues we come up with as architects and how we resolve those. So I guess I don't have a slide on this necessarily, but us at Mayberry Workshop, we started back in around 2005, and really kind of became a part of the community through volunteering at places like Spur and other adding housing and architecture in the area, downtown association and whatnot. We helped with some small spaces in around downtown San Pedro Square Market, and we frequently, getting coffee at coffee shops and restaurants around town. And we met my client through going to coffee at San Pedro Square, and just chatting and being involved, in him understanding that we were involved in ADUs and him wanting the ADU. So that comes into play as we talk about our firm and how this all connects, is that we created a brand, a t-shirt company, apparel company, a pop-up store downtown, and really added to the vibrancy of the urban environment, to showcase our brand and make those aware of what we can do. And now that's leading into architecture, and we're taking the architecture and hopefully adding that into smaller developments and communities around town, and not just spaces. The reason why I bring this up is, we've created these spaces in around downtown San Jose with our brand as interventions around town, and having this business and our client who wanted a place for art, wanted to extend his home out into the yard, have place for guests, and wanted to emulate some of the spaces that Facebook, which he worked at, and some of the art and things he curated, actually brought us in to do a little pop-up store at Facebook. So our client and our brand and our design work sort of molded into these pieces, and I'll show you here what the design is like and how that fits together. But going back to the client and their needs, space for art, big walls, wanting multiple spaces for children to be able to play, guests to be here, indoor, outdoor with the yard. We had kind of two design options for them to go through, a more modern design, and we also had a somewhat more traditional, but using our modern spin on it space. As we explored these ideas with the loft space for a second bedroom, San Jose actually changed their policy, which we helped them guide to add a second bedroom. If we could get up to 1,000 square foot, 1,200 square foot, why not allow 2 bedrooms? It just makes sense for a large space. Furthermore, we talked with them a lot about the second story. The original second story ordinance involved midpoint of roof slope. It's going to the weeds. But if you get a 2-story home built with the policy, you'd have a second story floor plate that was less than 8 foot, which isn't typical with building a home. So we did kind of help advocate for that 24-foot high that we have now, and all those good things. So this design became the ADU here. This is a rendering to get final approval. We wanted to do a walkthrough, but we didn't have total access to the space. So we're going to do a digital walkthrough here with using our ArchiCAD architecture software. So fully custom ADUs typically, and I'll touch on non-custom ADUs at the end, but we have a big sliding glass door for this kind of indoor outdoor feel. And as you walk in, you see the 2-story height space. We'll go into some pictures quickly, but the Facebook Frank Gehry style stairwell was wanting to be emulated here. So we're kind of using this plywood utilitarian concrete floors. We wanted this hot pink magenta, but that didn't translate into the existing this space when we built it. So you'll see that a little bit differently. Big kitchen area here that could be used for large pieces of art, and this indoor outdoor feel into the main house back there. You go up the stairs and you see this bedroom space with a sliver window here. We're kind of walking through this live to see somehow we deal with custom. We typically walk through these with our clients. We could fly through using our cool mouse here. And we have another kind of small space here that's for the bedroom downstairs. I'm going to switch back over now to our slides because we get real pictures of this built, and I'll show you how it looks exactly like the renderings, which is always a goal of us architects. So corrugated metal, again, utilitarian, cutting out on price, but keeping some of the aesthetic that we're looking for. Interesting enough, this client curated a mural on the side of this house that's just beautiful. It wraps around the side, and there's some graffiti art, and it's just great. Ricky Watts is the artist there. So you can see the kitchen here in its final state, somewhat similar to what we showed with the walkthrough. Moving on, lots of great art. There's some Obey Giant original pieces there, some curated stuff from our client. But the space is very open, and it's not very large and vast for a 900 square foot 2-bedroom unit, but it's it really, the volume is very dramatic. This is about 17 foot tall there. Again, other pictures of the sides. I just want to mention my team. Like, we have about 8 people working for us now. We wouldn't be anywhere without our team, and we work really hard to make these custom ADU units. I just want to give a shout out to them. Here's a couple interior shots as well. We could get back if we have specific questions here. But we've done a bunch of ADUs from Gilroy to San Bruno to Napa, East Bay, Albany, Berkeley. We work all over, and we do very unique ADUs from custom to semi-custom to pre-designed. We'll kind of do everything. We do have 2 units that are pre-approved in the city of San Jose now, and 2 others that are pre-designed. We haven't permitted them yet, but we may soon. And we're also approved in the city of Napa and Sonoma County as that program gets launched. So we're really kind of hitting custom across the Bay Area. So yeah, I'd love to take some questions.
Looks like you're getting a question.
Any
Oh, yeah.
any units with a loft with a ladder? We do have a loft and a ladder unit. We actually got this permitted. I don't know if it's built yet in San Bruno. I think they're starting to build, but this is the design we had based off Japanese style architecture, is small vertical housing. This is within the 18-foot tall single story San Jose threshold for pre-approved permits. We haven't got this pre-approved, but we have the plans ready and everything needed. We could submit this tomorrow if we needed to. And we had all the information needed. This unit is a very tight footprint, so it fits in almost any space, 18 by 20. Has a very good little living room, study area, and kitchenette with bathroom, and then a loft bedroom, utility closet, and normal closet. In section, you could see this here, what that big 16-foot tall. This is actually 18, but you get about 16-foot clear on the interior there. Any in Cupertino and the cost per square foot? You know, we tell people, depending on the size, the cost per square foot could be $500 to $600 up to, you know, those are for small units, and then going up towards you know, 900, 1,000 square feet being like 350, 400. It depends how far in the rear your unit is placed and how much trenching you need to connect, and if you're going to have utility hookups separate or not. There's a lot of outside the footprint costs. If you're asking cost, typically people are getting costs from a contractor. The contractor would give you a per square foot price of the foundation up. Those other utility costs and hookups are usually reimbursable costs to their contracts. So it's kind of hard to say cost. You know, we are architects, so we help you with quickly getting permits. You can take this to any builder and have them built traditionally. So as good as you are with finding material or sourcing builders that can do quality jobs at a decent price, you know, your costs can go up or down just depending on what you choose for the interiors. ADA acceptable. Yeah, we could always add a ramp to any of these units. You know, universal design is really about a lot of the equipment and heights of countertop space. As an example, this 900 square foot ADU is very universal design because there's no islands that make tight spaces. So if you have a wheelchair or others accessing the space, it's very open. The bathrooms could be universal design with some quick interior wall changes that aren't very structural, and those are all acceptable in the approved units in San Jose specifically. Jen in the Q&A is asking about privacy. Yeah, I think, you know, planting and fencing between units or make things private by the tenants of the ADU plus the tenants of the main house, just depending on how you're using it and who's going to be back there. When you have a tight lot, it's kind of hard to separate them for sure.
And Adam,
So
couple
yeah.
questions in the chat function.
Yeah.
Kitty Moore's asking about entry-level price points with a kitchen, and Diana is asking about a pre-approved ADU, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,000 square feet.
Yeah. So so Katie's asking, they're attractive. They don't appear to be targeting affordable housing. Yeah, I mean, typically people that are building these aren't necessarily targeting affordable housing. They may be targeting something cheaper than buying a new house if they're adding housing for an older parent or a kid coming back from college. By building something custom, you're actually saving on that similar size house that you would be buying. So instead of buying a 900 square foot somewhere for $1 million, you know, you could build a custom ADU here for $400,000. So it is affordable by process, not necessarily a cheap thing to afford. If you do build it, your mortgage is going to be less, most likely, than what your rent would be for a similar size space in the neighborhood. So we have made these easy to permit, and we're taking a lot of the custom design out of the process for our clients. So a typical custom 900 square foot ADU might be in the $25,000 range for us to do as a custom design. We're able to get a pre-permitted beautiful house for more like a $5,000 price point for what we've put up front. So it is an affordable price point for our services and what the alternatives are. But it's not cheap housing. We're not building cheap housing. We're building nice housing, and there's a difference between cheap and like something that's been thought through and looks nice. It's the same roof that everyone else has. It's just our pitch is a little higher and looks a little bit more affordable. We could put stucco on the side as, you know, this 532 square foot one. There's options here for, you know, metal siding, which is pretty cheap. This is actually just hardy paneling, or you could do white stucco. So it looks nice because we've designed it well, but it's still similar cheap materials.
And Adam, let's be
Sure.
honest with everyone. We all know housing's super expensive across the board here in Silicon Valley. So
Yeah, it is, unfortunately, and we hope to, like, you know, further expand the ADU and hope people start to loosen up some of the requirements that SB9 is helping with, because we're all interested in having cheaper price points for housing if people are buying or renting, for sure.
well, thanks, Adam. Appreciate all the illustrations.
You're welcome.
Work and your firm. Adam will, like Jeremy, will be on here if you guys want to ask him more questions. Feel free to keep them coming. Looks like Coley has one in the Q&A for all of our panelists. So anyone, feel free to answer that in the chat or type your answer in there to Coley's question. As we get ready to transition, let's go to Nicholas King with Soup. Nicholas, you feeling ready to roll?
Hope so.
Great. Take it away. Thanks.
With any luck, the presentation's on the screen. All right. Amen. The first hurdle is over with. Thanks. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. My name is Nicholas King. I'm the executive director of Soup. Soup is a East Palo Alto-based nonprofit. So this is going to be a little bit different flavor of presentation from the previous ones. And one of the ways we're fighting the housing crisis is to try to build more housing, specifically for low-income working people. And how we do it is, among other things, I'm going to try to stay focused tonight, but we look for good owners, good sites, and then we support them in building accessory dwelling units in their yards And we help them with assessing the site, construction, financing, project management. The theory being that construction is really hard and opaque and unpredictable. It's hard to get firm timelines and firm cost. And we hope to make it easier for people to do, specifically for low income and working people. And example, people who would be good candidates for working with us might be someone who is an existing homeowner, but is still low income and has some space to add one or more units to their property. And you can imagine what that gives them. It gives them the possibility of having rental income. Perhaps it provides the opportunity to have multiple generations on the same property. There could even be moving around from one, the larger house to a smaller one, if that's appropriate at this stage in a person's life. And we can help people do that and get over the hurdle of the financing part. And I don't feel like I don't want to manage a construction project part. Something else that we're capable of doing and have done in East Palo Alto is create land trust so that we can add properties to existing sites and hold them in trust to try to keep them affordable in perpetuity. So those are a couple of examples. Tonight, we're supposed to focus on the tour for you guys to help you visualize it. So I'm going to start by showing you. This is a street, actual street in East Palo Alto. I'm going to show you where one ADU that we working on, I should say, nearly complete is. I'll tell you a little bit about the company who made it. It so happens that this ADU is factory built, but that does not need to be the case. It's just coincidence that we wanted to show you something that was closer to finish because it's better looking. And we'll give you a tour. So this is the view from the street. You can see that blue house on the right, and right in front of us is that box is an accessory dwelling unit. So just to give you a sense of the scale and what it looks like. And you can kind of imagine what this used to look like before that was there. It was just a yard, maybe a place to park a couple of cars behind the fence in the driveway. And now it's a whole nother unit of housing. This and the next picture are not my pictures, but I wanted to give you a sense of what they look like. So the company that built this unit in particular is called Blockable. This is a blockable unit on a truck. Blockable units are called blocks. It's a Seattle-based company. They have a factory in Vancouver and they manufacture them there in different configurations. And this is how it goes. You already heard a little bit about, I didn't know that, about trying to keep it to a certain height to keep it on the road without a police escort. That's good to learn. I wonder if Blockable's done the same thing. And again, this is also cheating because this is not the actual unit, but it's pretty similar to the one that I'm going to show you. What I wanted to call out in this photo is the footings that are in place. So the site work is done in advance, or at least some of it is, obviously. And those feet will line up with the block that's lowered. And that's how it's supported. And so you'll pay attention to that as you look on the next, at the next video. I think that these are all the previous presenters and this one are really good looking housing. There's this really high quality materials here and great design. And that's important to us. Good design is important to us because not only does everyone deserve good housing, but we also think they deserve good design. And you shouldn't have to sacrifice that just because of budget. So before I show you a quick video of what this exterior looks like, you'll see that this one has steps that walk up to it, but it could also easily be a front porch or a ramp. And the units are ADA accessible. It's LEED ready. The exterior envelope is insulated and water resistant. You won't see it, obviously, but this one has solar panels on the roof. And they can be combined to form larger units, or they could be standalone. So here's a short walk into the yard. I forgot to ask for your, please excuse the mess a little bit. The landscaping and other stuff is yet to come. It's almost complete and occupiable, but we have a little bit of mess to clean up. My son said he did not like that you could see the fan right there when you come in, and there should be landscaping in front of it. So that's a photograph of one of the downspouts on the rear side. Here's the solar box that connects to the solar panel. And before we go inside, I'll tell you a little bit about it. Keep in mind that this arrives with everything inside. It's finished. It's sprinkler ready. This particular unit doesn't have sprinklers connected. It's ADA compliant, so all of the kitchen and bathroom sink are at the right height, and there's the turning radiuses are there to be able to make a turn, even though it's a compact space. I believe the square footage on this one is about 260. There's a ton of outlets in there, more than my house. And it also comes complete with the HVAC and thermostat and fire alarm system. And so we'll have a few short trips. It's a small unit, so it won't take long to tour inside.
Here's another video from Nick.
And last,
These are helpful. Thanks, Nicholas.
I'm doing my best to hold the camera still as I recorded this. I mean, it doesn't take long to get the feel of this. And, that's a still shot of the main living area. And here's not too much to share. On the left there, that's just the bathroom with the closet door closed. On the right, the closet door is open. To my left is a utility closet with the water heater. And that's about it for what that particular unit looks like, just to give you a sense of an additional unit of housing in East Palo Alto.
Thanks, Nicholas. We're getting some questions about Soup's products around dimensions, ramp to get in, or is there another design that is without steps?
So let me, now I see the difference between the Q&A and the chat. Where should I look?
You can just answer them out. Dimensions question first. Sounds like Kenneth and Jen are both asking about the width and dimensions of the blocks.
I'm not sure. I'd have to check on that. I don't have that right in front of me. And that particular unit is not built by Blockable anymore. Interior, this does not entirely answer your question, but I'm about 5'10", and I think I was about a foot away from being able to touch both walls with my hands when I stood in that main living area. And I'm happy to get back to you with the dimensions. What else do we have? Was there a question about models?
There's a question about a ramp to get in, or is there another design that is without steps?
Absolutely, yes. There's three choices: porch, deck, ramp, and the doorknobs are at the appropriate height as well. So it is ADA compliant.
Got it. Okay. Any last questions for Nicholas? And he'll stay on too, and maybe see if there's some quick research on that dimension question while the next
Do my
presenter,
best.
if he can get us some more info, that would be great. We got another question, or maybe it's a comment from Coley. He's saying, I wish with today's technology, these units should be available to be constructed without the use of an HVAC to keep the units comfortable. Our 100-year-old home keeps cool with a whole hose fan. Wow, interesting. Okay. And maybe Rebecca will have some more thoughts on that as she gets into her presentation. Any closing thoughts you want to share, Nicholas, or questions you want to answer?
No, I'll pay attention to the chat if anything comes up, and I'll try to answer some questions. But thanks for having me, and it's nice to meet those of you on the panel who I haven't met already.
Thanks, Nicholas. Well, we're going to go to Rebecca for another 15 minutes. That'll take us close to the end of the night. Around 6:55, we'll close things out. So if we have extra time for questions, come back to Jeremy, come back to Adam, come back to Nicholas, come back to Rebecca. And so keep the questions coming in the chat and Q&A. We're going to continue to monitor both. Rebecca, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, excited to hear what you're going to share.
Yeah, my name's Rebecca Muller. I'm the CEO and founder of Sembium. I came to the Bay Area in 2017 to oversee high-rise residential projects, and soon learned that everything was on the billboards is not going to be built because it couldn't pencil. So there's a lot of aggregating of land, driving land price up, but not really being able to produce more housing, as well as with affordable housing included in any of these developments, if they do get built, goes out for lottery. So an instance in 2017, San Francisco put out 1,210 units for lottery affordable housing, and 85,000 people applied. So it's like a monstrous problem. And so I read an article on the BBC about how London and Berlin and LA are solving their housing crisis, and they're actually not, but it gave me an idea. And it was about with the fit out of garages. And what I saw was a replicable, scalable model. And since then, I incorporated in 2020, I'm just really in the launch phase right now. I have a model in East San Jose, and I've got master permits in San Jose. And so what I've done is I've got a California housing and community development modular unit that gets built off site, gets taken to the garage, and assembled in a matter of days. So you have to do an assessment of the house, see what the utility requirements, what's available. The one beauty right now with converting in a garage, if the house has gas, you can use the gas, which really helps with these older homes that have 100 amp panels. Because if you try to bring in a unit with 100 amps, you've got to upgrade, and it costs money and time. So because I come from a construction background, it was really important for me to come up with or develop a program that protects the homeowner's interests, because they don't have any idea how to manage contractors. And since that's been my background, and I actually half my career was overseeing Fortune 500 projects to protect their interest, it was really important for me to be able to say to the homeowner, in all honesty, your end-to-end cost is this, and this is what you get. And so at Alex's suggestion, I went and did a video of the unit. So I think what I'll do is maybe share my screen. Let's see what shows up. Oh, yay, the right thing showed up. So you can go to my website at symbihom.com. The Sim, just so you understand the name, the Sim is the before, and you'll see in my logo, it's got two boxes. And the Sim is like the existing garage, the existing community. And the biome was a play on the microbiome. And unless we have a diverse microbiome, we're sick. And so part of the mission is likes get some of this working class that's in the communities back into the communities where they can afford to live. And we've got an aging population that it's better to age in place. And we have a young population that needs a place to live that they can afford. And so while I'll do market rate units, I'm really got a big focus on being able to provide affordable housing units. And when I say that, if you looked at the California's, like Santa Clara County's median income, it's at 151,300. So when anybody talks about low income, what they're really equating that to, that's our teachers, our nurses, our firefighters. And so I really avoid the words low income and really put it in a classification of our workers, because that's where it belongs. So let's see how we go from here. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to share my my video, and I apologize that it's vertical, but here we go.
That's better. Thanks. And feel free to narrate, Rebecca. So that's the side door, Rebecca, or the front door?
It's the front door to the unit.
Okay. We're not hearing.
Can you hear my audio?
No.
On the video?
Nope.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, how do I do that? Let's see. Maybe it just. There's a video. Okay. I need to start talking because I thought you guys could hear me talk. So let me back up just a little bit and start again.
No problem. John's vows, and you can reshare and check the box for share sound. Or you can just talk over it. That might be easier at this point, Rebecca, if you.
Okay, I don't know. I didn't realize I had to do a share sound. Sorry.
Up to you.
Well, now it's just buffering. Just gotta love technology. Well, you got a peek inside the unit. So what it was is that was a 2-car garage, and it had a window in the garage. The window got converted to the entry door, and the front got converted to windows. And so this is just really maddening. So Jeremy, I feel you. I'm not being able to have what you wanted up. So let's go to Plan B, which is the photos.
You might do a refresh on the web page if you want, Rebecca.
I had a darn time trying to get the thing. So while it's doing that, how do I share the sound, Alex?
You'd have to go down to share screen.
I got it.
And then you would click on, I believe, advanced instead of advanced toward the top of the share screen. It's the middle, I think, of 2 or 3 buttons.
Yeah, it says who can share, all panelists, who can start sharing when someone else is sharing, all panelists. Only the host. I don't see a place for volume.
You instead of clicking on the little arrow in share screen, you click on the main button.
Ah, I see.
And then it should say advanced.
I'm not seeing it.
Here, let's stop your screen sharing for a second. Why don't you
Okay.
Start again.
Okay, thank you. I'm in the remedial group here.
Okay. So now why don't you try to share again and look for the advanced button at the top middle of the share screen.
It just has who can share and who can share, start sharing when somebody else is sharing. Those are the only 2 questions I get.
Well, you were sharing the screen before.
Right. I mean, in other words, I can share my screen, but the audio is not going to change anything. I see advanced. I see advanced. Very good. All
Yep.
right,
There you go.
video, computer audio. All right,
Yep.
let's do video. Okay.
Thanks, John Zhao, for the help. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Now I gotta find the video.
Thanks, everyone, for your patience. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Rebecca's working on it.
Here we go.
Okay, your screen's coming back up again, Rebecca. No. Oh, we just lost it. Don't worry, everyone. In 20 years, we'll all be experts on Zoom.
Oh, God.
We love our San Jose company Zoom,
Oh,
But
yeah, it just
I think
says
everyone's
format
sick of Zoom,
unsupported.
unfortunately.
Yeah, it just says format unsupported. So I'm going to try the video again and I'll talk while we go through.
That'd be great.
Sad.
Thank you.
Apologies, everyone. I was just so happy that I got the thing loaded. Go figure. All right. So this is the front of the house. Had a large white garage door there before. Okay, so this was a gate that just went to a long walkway in the back. So what we did was I put in a partition right before the first window that was part of the house so that you had complete privacy, and it's the very, very back part of the garage. So this is an entry and you have privacy.
And this is all a garage, Rebecca?
This is all a garage. So you guys really are going to flip out when you see the inside. So
Okay.
that was converted from a window to a door, which is no big deal. And so it's really a preference of either where do you want to enter and exit. So here you go. This is the Sembium garage conversion. And it's really an event to walk in, and I invite all of you to come visit because you don't think of a garage when you walk in this unit. So this is for fully furnished efficiency. There's a bookcase there.
That's
And
built
that
in?
bookcase is actually a Murphy door that hides the closet, which that was a little fun thing to put in. So you have some nice storage, and you have storage up in the attic as well. We got a full length mirror there. That was my hello. And so you've got a full bath. This has a queen size Murphy bed. And there's lots of different versions. You could get a single bed, you could get a couch on the bed, you could get a desk on the bed. It was just our preference to do it this way.
Someone asked if that was a tankless water heater that was outside the front door.
No,
there.
it's not. That was a solar system and electrical system. So it's a blended system. So this has a full kitchen, and I have accent lighting that really makes it where it feels taller. Because that was an 8-foot garage. Some garages have 9 foot, which is really make it dramatic. Because this is efficiency, your bedroom is part of in your kitchen. So you can't have gas. So I had an electric cooktop and a convection oven. In a 1-bedroom, I can use gas stove and top if gas exists in the house already. So those are 3/4 inch boxes, really nice cabinets. So you can tuck that away or put it on top, and you can choose which kind of convection oven you want, because some are tall enough that you could like never use an oven anyway. It's the homeowner's choice. It's a really nice refrigerator. Compact, but you know, it's better than the little one. And then this is a heat pump. So it's air conditioning and heating in one, and it does not require a compressor outside, which just reduces complication. And it's a really quiet unit. And to the question about not having to have this, it's by code. You have to have it. So that's why we can't have just fresh air. So the unit's really quiet. It's STC 52. And those windows, if you saw the video, those cars are going by and you can't hear them. It's very high efficiency windows. So now we got the treat. So what we did was I made this a hidden door, and then it enters into the laundry room, which could have a lock on it or not, but it shares. So this is actually classified as a JADU. So it had a new washer, dryer, and a new hot water heater for the homeowner, and we're able to share the hot water heater with the house. It's high efficiency. That's the old electrical panel, which a lot of renovations, it was a mess. So we put a new electrical panel in and traced all the circuits so we knew where everything was. And so everything's labeled. And then there's one breaker that goes to a sub panel that's for the unit. So you have a separate panel for the unit. Sometimes you'd be able to leave the panel, but in this instance, it was an older house. So this is for a caregiver. The homeowners are 80 years old, and they were going to go to a facility, and COVID happened, and they decided that they would like to have something for a caregiver. And actually, the mother, she loves the unit. She says, "I want to live here instead of living in the house." Yeah, and then the storage of bedding and everything can go down at the bottom.
Great.
Yeah, sorry you can't hear the sound because it's a little bit more synchronized.
That's okay. You're doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna get to see the Murphy?
Oh, well, you'll see. I have some pictures of like the photographs of the unit that I can walk you through. Okay, so let me stop this thing. And then I've got some photographs that I put together. Okay, so I can do this 2-car garage, because the laundry was in it, it turned it into an efficiency. The laundry pushed the bathroom and kitchen this way so that we could make room for it. And then what would have been a built-in closet turned out behind the Murphy door. So a 2-car garage, I can do a 1-car garage. It has to be at least 14 feet wide and 20 feet deep, and you can get an efficiency. I need at least 20 feet wide by 20 or 22 feet to make a decent 1-bedroom.
Rebecca,
And
can you full screen there?
oh yeah, sure. I'm
Can you make
sorry.
that bigger?
You bet.
Thanks. Great.
So here's the 1-bedroom. And in this instance, we could do doors out the front and have a little seating area. I've got a series of pivot doors that can go across and make it look like a glass garage door. Of course, it's opaque, so you can't see in the unit, but it floods the unit with light. In the event that this would want it to be windows, we'd make this accessible for life safety, and we could put a door for entry like you saw in the efficiency just now. Here's a layout of the efficiency. And in a 2-bedroom, this wall here just moves this way, and you end up with a 2nd bedroom back here, and this shifts over a little bit. I don't have a rendering for you, but I'm working on that. I've got a series of photos that I was going to share with you. Here we go. Make it big. Okay, so here's the original house. That was the existing window here, and where that little seating area ended up. This is the electrical panel. I had 100 amp, and I was able to use less. My unit only took 23 amps, so I was able to squeeze into the 100 amps, which on these, so there's a load calc that's done. We go out and we pre-qualify the house to see what the capacity is, that we know that we can get it permitted without having to increase. This is the existing water heater and laundry that was in the garage, and this is their stuff full of stuff in the garage, which they took out. And you know, there's different services. You can take the junk, or you can, you know, store something, or you can put it someplace else in the house, or you can put a tough shed in the back. I mean, for the important things. This is the garage cleared. The attic, which needed to have some radiant barrier put up on the roof, and making sure that we had R38 on the in the ceiling. And so this is the connection for the lateral for the sewer. There's a pit that's in the front yard, and they have a directional boring that goes under the slab. And that's the hole that's made in the concrete slab. And that's the plumber putting in the piping. This was the old panel. This is the new panel. A pod is put in front of the house, which has all the ingredients for the inside, and the panels that are basically it's a box within a box. So that I've got an HCD approval, the electrical, the plumbing, insulation, everything's in there, and the panels just clip together. The panel system has flex panels so that you can size the garage for any width or depth. The highs, check the water pressure, put some piping in, put in a new water heater, new washer dryer. Finish the plumbing. We put a vapor barrier down on the slab so you don't have to worry about any kind of migration of moisture. This is the beginning of the window. We have a structural engineer that gave us drawings, and this is part of the set. And I do have approved master set drawings in the city of San Jose. So it's the first city that I've received master permits in. And this is just the beginning. We put a stem wall if you have windows in the front. And the this is a sleeper floor. So the garage floors slope from back to front. And so this floor, it makes the floor completely level. And we come in and do a point cloud of the floor so we know, you know, what the sleepers need to be in dimensions.
Rebecca, in the Q&A, there's a question, from Peter, does the Murphy bed require a special type of mattress that can be stored vertically?
No, it was just a memory foam mattress. It's really comfy. You know, it's just, I think the only thing, if you had a 15 Mitchell mattress, you might not be able to, but they're pretty generous. I'll get to the Murphy bed real quick. I'll just go through this stuff. State of California approval. Here's the front. I probably wouldn't get into the stucco on the building. I listened to the wrong person when I did that, but there it is, complete. These are the vents for the HVAC unit in the front. We protected the floors, and the panels all went in. And then those get finished just like you would regular drywall and paint. Doors get set. Cabinets get set. We put cork underneath the flooring so that it has a nice firm feel and it's comfortable. And then that's a bamboo flooring. There's no VOCs on any of the materials that are put in the unit. And so this quickly goes together. So connection of utilities is like a week after we have permits, and installation of the unit is no more than a 2-week process. It goes together really quick. This is a happy homeowner. Her name's Susanna. And these are the more formal pictures of the unit completed. It's all commercial grade, solid core wood doors and hardware. The intent for me is build it like you would a commercial condominium. And and not with the residential materials, so that it has longevity. And it's appropriate to a person that's a professional needing a place to live, that it's can be an upscale living arrangement for a lower cost. There's the Murphy bed down. There you go, Alex.
Great.
And you can see the TV from across the room from the bed.
Well, Rebecca, we're running a little low on time. So if you
Yeah.
got a couple questions for you and for multiple presenters, and Mike
Sure.
Curry asked some good questions. So if folks could answer those in the chat function and just remind folks who you're responding to. Rebecca and Adam, if you have a quick chance to put your contact information in the chat function, that would be great. So
Great.
people can get in
Thank
touch with you. And if you can put it in the presentation as well, then people will have it hereafter in the final slides I'm going to give. So I want to thank everyone for coming here tonight, learning from some great companies doing some really great stuff. It's really fun to see these products in action. And I really hope you all will reach out to these companies. They're more than this, we know, and Catalyze SV doesn't endorse any of these particular products, though we're excited to see them. We know there are many other providers out there. We'll hope you'll explore whatever suits your individual needs. And we're just so grateful to learn more about the landscape through these companies. I'm going to share a couple closing slides from us, and we will get you out the door. So, as I said, Catalyze SV is a grassroots community-based organization. We do a lot of work around development issues, leading conversations. Again, tonight's event was the result of our member, Steve Pimentel, suggesting an event on this. So let me say this in very clear terms. If you are a community member and you want to plan an event about development issues in our community, you can absolutely come to a Catalyze SV Community Engagement Committee and plug into our process, suggest an event, and your idea, like tonight, will come to fruition if it fits our mission and our goals. So we want community members to be helping plan educational events like this, to bring folks together to learn about development issues. We also, once a month, have our project advocacy committee members meet and actually evaluate and score development projects, multi-story housing projects throughout Silicon Valley. So if you're interested in sharing your viewpoints on what you want development to look like, how we can get more equitable and sustainable and vibrant development in our community, check out the Project Advocacy Committee and become a member so you can start scoring projects. You can also plug in by donating or signing up for our newsletter. And again, this event is put on by Catalyze SV, a nonprofit. We're so appreciative of our presenting sponsors, San Jose Conservation Corps and Charter School, Meriwest Credit Union, Kaiser Permanente, and the Sí Se Puede collective for helping support tonight's event. You can also find us on our social media platforms, all the usual ones, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. Check us out there. And finally, we've got contact information for all of our presenters. Adam's put his in the chat function as well. So if you want to find it there, reach out to these folks to learn more information. We would love for you to consider an ADU as something you might build for your home or a place that might be your future place that you live. We're so grateful for all of you coming out. Thank you everyone for the things you're saying in the chat function. We really appreciate it. And we're done on time. So everyone have an amazing night. Thank you for everything you do in our community to build housing or to provide housing. And hopefully you'll learn more about ADUs and we'll have more educational events throughout this year. Come on and join us. We'll send you this presentation tonight for everyone who registered. So you will get a copy of the actual YouTube of the video where you can watch what you learned tonight and review any of the presenters who gave their information and shared their products. So Nicholas King, Rebecca Moeller, Adam Mayberry, Jeremy Osborne, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Have an amazing night. Good night.
Thanks so much, Alex.
Thank you.